What is the true cost of skincare treatments? There are at-home devices, there are services that you can get at a spa or a salon, and then there's medical services. But how much should these actually cost? And how do you know if you're spending your money wisely or if you are being ripped off? In today's video, we are going to discuss the true cost of skincare treatments, breaking down what goes into these different things, how much they cost and why, and the questions that you should ask before you do a treatment, and how much you should actually expect to pay. We are going to discuss exfoliation, LED light therapies, lasers, peels, and even needles. So to start off, I want to personally know, have you tried any of these? Have you tried over-the-counter exfoliation, or have you paid for microdermabrasion at an aesthetics office? Post a comment with what you have tried or what you would want to. And let's start diving into exfoliation. What does it do and who is it good for? Exfoliation is removing that top layer of skin, the epidermis, and it's really good for anybody who has scarring, for anybody who is looking to resurface skin, such as textural issues, and it can also help with color as well. If you have acne, it can be really great because it removes that top plug that could be causing pimples. And then what are the different types of exfoliation? There are skincare tools and devices that you can purchase at home, or you can go to a spa and get microdermabrasion, or you can go to a doctor's office and get actual dermabrasion. And when it comes to those things, what are the differences and what should they cost? When it comes to the at-home tier of skincare devices for exfoliation, there are skin brushes, and there are ones that are affordable and some that are a ripoff. Let's dive into those. The way skincare brush devices work is that they have these little brush heads that either spin or oscillate back and forth to help remove dirt and debris. They also have different types of bristles. When it comes to choosing an at-home skincare device, you want to make sure to look for one that oscillates back and forth, kind of like a jittery motion, as opposed to going in circles. The circle ones will just damage the skin. This is one from Ultimate Skin Spa that you've seen me use before. I personally like this because it's travel friendly and it actually comes with 3 different brush heads. This one happens to be the exfoliating brush head. They also have an everyday sensitive skin brush head, and then they have the silicone brush head, which is great for sensitive skin, and it's actually antimicrobial. Now again, the reason that I like this is because it oscillates and doesn't spin. If you're actually spinning, it can actually start to tear the skin. The price of the brush heads are actually included in the cost. At full price, you can expect to pay around 120 bucks for this, and that's generally a good price for an at-home device that you can use for a couple of years. Being the cheap person that I am, the best thing about a lot of these brushes is that you can get them on sale. This one is actually $40 on sale, and I'll link the coupon code that I know about below. But now on the other hand, let's talk about other skin brushes such as the Clarisonic. This is definitely a luxury product. This happens to be the smart one, and the prices for these range from about $250 to about $300, and sometimes the brush heads aren't included. So when it comes to an at-home exfoliation device, how do you know if you're getting a good deal versus getting ripped off? Again, make sure that you're looking for an oscillating brush head, not one that spins 360. For me, I like the fact that I can find good ones that are on sale. You have the option of luxury, but it's not something I would personally recommend. Because at the end of the day, you're looking for that exfoliation to be done, you're looking to remove makeup, and you're looking to make sure that you're not stripping the skin. And as long as the brush head oscillates and it has the correct type of bristles, you can do that. There is also microdermabrasion at home, which is kind of the next step up. And this kind of gets funky. Microdermabrasion is normally done in a spa or medical setting. And what microdermabrasion is actually shooting crystals or diamond dust at the skin and then vacuuming it back up along with that top layer of skin. It's literally like a crystal vacuum for your face, and it helps to exfoliate and resurface the skin. While this is really effective in spa settings, at-home devices cannot do this properly. Unless you literally purchase the $3,000 microdermabrasion machine that they use at spas, you're not going to be able to get a good microdermabrasion at home with any of the products that I have seen on the market. The reason why is because the ones that are for at-home consumer use don't actually use real diamond dust. Sometimes they're using a glass byproduct, which is kind of like a sand. On top of that, they don't have the same vacuum. They don't have that same vacuum power, so they cannot suck up that crystal debris again, and then they can't also suck up the dead skin cells that you've just removed. Now, when it does come to a spa, how much can you expect to pay? How do you know if you're getting ripped off for microdermabrasion or if you're getting a good deal? Let's break down the cost of this. When it comes comes to getting it done at a spa, you have to think about the location. If you're in a rural area, it's gonna be a lot less expensive, but if you're going to a spa in a big city, you can expect to pay a little bit more. Now, you're paying for the esthetician's expertise. Did they just graduate beauty school, or have they been doing this for a good 10 to 15 years? You're also paying for the device. The device itself costs a good $3 grand, and the spa needs to make that money back. Also, the esthetician needs to be paid for her time, the spa needs to pay to keep the lights on, and you're probably paying for a little bit of a facial or a good cleansing system before and after the treatment is done. For a quality microdermabrasion session, you can expect to pay around $100 to up to $300. If you're paying more than $300 per session, you are getting ripped off. Also, when it comes to microdermabrasion, this is a process that resurfaces skin to help with acne scars, to help with regular scars, pigmentation, etc. This normally takes about 3 to 6 sessions. And if you go to a reputable spa, they should offer you a bulk discount. At LaBelle Spa, which is one that I personally love and use here in the Bay Area, they charge $295 per session, and they have other discounts for bulk packages. If you go to Healing Garden Therapies, which is a spa in rural Mississippi, you can expect to pay around $90 per treatment. Again, remember that the geographic area is going to impact that price, along with the expertise of the esthetician and the quality of the other products that they are using during that treatment. If you try to get microdermabrasion done at a derm's or doctor's office and don't have insurance, you're probably going to be paying $400 to maybe $1,000, and that's just not worth it. Dermabrasion is different, but that's also very invasive and you need numbing cream. So again, for exfoliation, your at-home skin brushes or your microdermabrasion at a spa is the way to go. Here's a list of questions you want to ask a specialist before you get microdermabrasion done. How long is the actual microdermabrasion session going to be? Are you going to put this device on my skin for 5 minutes and just do one sweep? Or are you going to spend a good 15, 20, or 30 minutes doing multiple passes? Also, how many treatments am I going to need to actually see results? Normally it's 3 to 6, but if you have small scars, it might be less. If you have deep pitted acne scars, it might be more. You want to know this before going in. Also, do they use microdermabrasion crystals or actual crushed diamond? Diamond is what the real microdermabrasion machines use, and you want to make sure that you're getting at least crystal quality. If for some reason the specialist that you're talking to says that they use a glass byproduct or some sort of sand, you want to steer clear because you're not getting your money's worth. Next, let's talk about lasers. Who are they good for and how exactly do they work? Lasers work by actually shooting light and energy into your skin. This actually temporarily micro damages the skin so that your body's natural healing response is ramped up, meaning your skin is triggered to produce more collagen, more healing, plumping, and rejuvenation. This sounds really intense, so who are lasers for? Lasers are for people who have wrinkles, people who have sun damage or pigmentation spots, people who have deep acne scarring or active acne with bacterial overload, and people who again really need that rejuvenation. Lasers are generally not for people who have rosacea or redness issues, unless there is a specialized laser that you're looking at. So what can you expect to pay for a laser treatment? And let's break down that cost. When it comes to at-home lasers, in this case, there are none that I would recommend. And the reason why is because anything that I have seen for over-the-counter use does not have the power to give you the results you need, or it is too dangerous to be letting somebody without a degree operate. This is energy, lasers that you are putting into your skin. If that is being done at home with the amounts of energy that you actually need to see results, that is extraordinarily dangerous and should not be taken lightly. So when it does come to lasers, you need to get this done at a medical aesthetic spa or at a doctor's or dermatologist's office. So what's the cost? Depending on the location and the size or the area of the face or body that you're treating, you're probably looking at $800 to about $1,900. That's expensive. If you're doing just a spot of jawline acne or maybe a scar that you got as a kid or from a C-section, it might be around that $800 to $1,200 range. But if you're actually looking to target the eyelids, crow's feet, and the entire chest and neck, you could be looking at $1,900 to $2,500. And that's the price for each session. So why is this so expensive? It's because of the results and the machines themselves. On the low end, the machine is probably around $5,000. Most machines run $20,000 to $40,000 to $60,000. And if you're looking at Fraxel or Regenlight, some of those lasers are even $200,000 or above. And again, that's a cost that the spa or the medical office has to incur, and then they have to pay their doctor or their medically certified esthetician in order to perform. You're also paying the location. Are you in an expensive area or in a rural city? And you're also paying for the time that that specialist is going to be treating your skin, taking photos, and helping you through both the pre-process, the laser process, and the post-healing process. So how do you know if you're being ripped off? This is a tricky one because scars can differ, the severity of wrinkles can differ, delicate area on the eyes versus the back can differ. And on top of that, the type of laser and the person's expertise can also vary. But if you're paying more than $5,000 for one treatment, you are being royally ripped off. And between you and I wouldn't pay more than $2,000 for a single treatment on the high end. And that would be for like a full face of acne scars with the delicate eye area such as crow's feet. If you're just targeting acne scars or acne, under $2,000. And this would be quoted for the area that I live in, which is California, San Francisco, which is a pretty big metropolis city. Now, do you get this done at a spa or at a dermatologist's office? If your medical insurance will cover it, get it done at a medical office. The reason why is because that $5,000 treatment could cost less than $50 if you have really good insurance. But if you don't have insurance, it's probably going to cost a lot of money at a doctor's office. Explore both doctors and med spas. And this is a place where you want to make sure to go to a med spa, not just any spa or salon. There are different types of estheticians, some that just graduated beauty school, some that have a 4-year degree, and some that are actually certified medical estheticians. If you're working with lasers, you want to make sure to ask the spa if this is being performed by a medical esthetician. LaBelle Med Spa is a group that I know and that I can personally recommend, but depending on where you are and who you talk to, you're going to want to ask about that. Here's also a list of questions you want to ask. Number 1, are lasers safe for my Fitzpatrick scale? Fitzpatrick is a scale that skincare professionals use to address skin. You want to know if this laser is going to help or hurt you. Second, are lasers suitable for my scar type? If you're prone to keloid scarring, this is something you might want to stay away from. Also, how many treatments will I need? Am I looking at just 1 or 2, or do I need to come back about 5 times over the course of a year and a half? And then very importantly, what after procedure steps will I need to take in order to mitigate infection? Because you don't want to do this and then have improper hygiene and get infected. Next, let's talk about LED light therapy. I get a lot of questions about this, and it's something that I want to address because it's something that I've tried personally. What is LED light therapy? How does it work, and who is it good for? LED uses certain wavelengths in order to penetrate the skin. These wavelengths can do certain things such as promote healing in the skin, they can help to rejuvenate the skin by helping to boost up collagen, or they can even kill bacteria, which is one of the key components to a bad acne breakout. The great thing about LED therapy is that scientific research and NASA research has actually backed it up. So while that's a great thing, the bad thing is that you can be getting ripped off quite regularly. And the reason why is because in order for LED light therapy to work, there is a very specific wavelength that those lights need to have in order to penetrate the skin and to stimulate the cells in your face correctly. The ideal wavelength is around 633 nanometers, and some studies have shown that with about 20 minutes of exposure to skin, the cells can actually produce up to 40% more collagen. Now, the problem is when it comes to home devices. I've personally been a sucker, and I purchased one of these years ago. It was this gigantic box that I got off the internet that I held my face in front of for like 20 minutes a day, and it didn't work. Now, why is that? Just because it had LED lights on it doesn't mean that it has the correct wavelength. It also wasn't big enough. It was a pretty big box, but if you actually compare this to what you're getting at a med spa or at a doctor's office, they have gigantic panels, which literally cover your face, your body, or the affected targeted area on all sides. These need a lot of power, a lot of electricity, and you need to make sure they're fully covering that area. So far, there is one at-home LED light therapy that might cut it. It's called the Stim. I've personally seen it in person. I have seen it at Sephora. I've not used it, and so I cannot recommend it, but it's one that I think might make the cut. But before I do some more intensive research on that specific product, really the way to go is, again, a spa or a medical office. So what is the cost breakdown? Again, it's the geography, it's the specialist's or doctor's time and expertise, and it's also the cost of the panels. Again, that Stim, that at-home device, is around $195. I don't know if it works, but it seems like the most viable one. There are other ones at home that I paid for, which I think was around $150, complete waste of money, and these can go up to $400 at home. Don't waste your money on them. But the great thing is that, again, you can purchase these in packages to make them a little bit less expensive. At Glow Spa in San Jose, they charge $175 for a 1-hour facial plus LED light treatment. But at New Mexico Albuquerque Skincare, they charge $125. If your doctor or dermatologist accepts medical insurance, that is great. One time I paid a $10 copay to see Dr. Sonia Badrisha, and I got a full LED light facial that was completely covered by my insurance at the time. However, if it's not covered by insurance, you're probably looking at $900 to $1,000 for the doctor visit plus the treatment. Makes way more sense to go to a spa. A list of questions you want to ask are, what wavelength range is being used? You want to know. Also, is the professional using red light, blue light, white light, yellow light, a different type of light, and why are they choosing that one for your condition? Also, ask how many treatments you're going to need to do. Is it going to be 1 to 3, or are you looking at 9 to 10? Next, let's talk about needles, and especially when it comes to microneedling, I have been seeing this take over the at-home space, and as someone who understands skin, I am really scared. There are also professional needles and professional microneedling that gets done in spas and dermatologists' office. But first off, needles in skin sounds terrifying. How does this actually work? Microneedling is a technique that, again, triggers the skin's natural inflammation pathways. Microneedles are not big needles, they are little ones. And in theory, they should not be drawing blood because they are so small. They penetrate deep into the skin, through the top layers of the epidermis into the dermis, and actually stimulate collagen down at that bottom layer where it is produced and promoted to grow. Just the way you would get a scrape and your skin would build a scar, microneedling is taking that body's process but doing it on a micro scale, so you don't actually have large scars. The problem is when you do. And that's when things are done either unprofessionally or at home by someone who does not know what kind of needle they are using and attacks their skin and causes permanent scars and damage. Microneedling can produce phenomenal results, but it can also be dangerous. And let's talk about the at-home stuff. The 2 at-home microneedles that I get asked about most often are Banish acne scars and Glow. Glow is personally one that I have, but as you can see, it still has the tags on because I have been too terrified to try it. Even though these are microneedles, microneedles have different widths and different lengths, and both can cause irreversible damage if not done properly. The reason that microneedling is so popular is because it can help with so many things. Some people have used it for hair loss. It can be used to resurface skin for wrinkles or for acne scars. It can help with pigmentation. It can help with sunspots. But the problem is that people have been purchasing these at-home treatments and have been using them if they have a high number on the Fitzpatrick scale, which can cause irreversible pigmentation. And some people who are prone to keloid scarring have used them and ended up with large scars, welts that will not go away on their face, chest, body, and elsewhere. Especially because some of these needles penetrate so deep and can involve blood, this is something that I would highly recommend doing professionally or making sure that you are educated to do at home. So what are the costs of some of these devices? When it comes to the at-home ones, Banish and Glow, you're looking at like $100 to $150. Now when you think about that, that's a complete ripoff. This is literally a piece of plastic that they have attached metal needles onto, probably costs 15 to 20 bucks, and they're charging you 150 bucks for it. But when you compare that to the $500 that you might spend at a spa, salon, or at a medical office, seems like a pretty good deal. Microneedling, when done by a dermatologist or a medical esthetician, is normally $500 to $1,000. Now what's the breakdown of that cost? Again, it's the actual tool or device used, and it's the expertise of the person. Your technician or your doctor/dermatologist is going to look at your skin, and they are going to choose a needle length and a needle width to make sure that it is right for your skin and not going to cause more issues. Sometimes they'll even turn you down if you have the wrong skin type for this treatment because it is very invasive. There are some microneedles that simply roll across the skin. Then there are others, such as Secret by Cutera, that actually shoots lasers and radio frequency into the skin through the needles, and it's like laser plus microneedling. Secret by Cutera is very effective when done by a medical professional, and I'm very familiar with this type of microneedling. I have not personally done it on my skin, but I have seen seen the results that other people have gotten in person in real time. But again, you don't want to let someone who is not a professional put lasers and needles into your skin because it can cause irreversible damage. Especially if you're combining the two, you always want to get this done in a professional setting. The Secret by Cutera, because it combines those two, is going to be more expensive than someone just rolling a needle across your skin. But again, this brings us to the questions that you want to ask. Is this safe for my skin and my Fitzpatrick scale? Is this safe for my scar type? Am I going to get keloids? How many treatments am I going to need to do in order to see results? And also, ask your professional what length of needle and what width of needle they're using. If the professional tells you the length and the width of that needle, you could technically write that down, go home and purchase one of these at-home devices and use it at home. That is a possibility, but I would personally recommend getting the check off to make sure that it is safe, especially for your scar type and your skin type, and then also making sure that you're taking really good at-home care. You don't want to introduce bacteria, you don't want to spread acne, you don't want to cause infection. When it comes to needles, $300 to $900 is pretty standard and what you can expect to pay. When it comes to the at-home kits, you're looking at about $100. Very lastly, because the sun is going down and my lighting is making me look like a horror movie, let's talk about peels. What are they and who are they good for? Peels can come in a variety of different types. They are usually an acid that is applied to the skin that actually lets the skin peel off in sloughs, or it micro-exfoliates those skin layers down and dissolves them completely. I personally love peels, and they're safe to do at all levels. You can buy a product with glycolic acid in it at 5% and do this at home. You can go into a spa or salon and get a facial that adds on a peel for $35 for some great peeling effects. You can also go to a medical office or your dermatologist and get a full face peel, something like a Jessner, where your skin literally comes off in sloughs. All three of these are things that I would recommend depending on what you're trying to treat. Peels, because they can vary so much in the type of acids used, the type of ingredients used, and what your issue is, can treat a lot of things. Usually peels are used for treating active acne, for different scars, for wrinkles, and for sunspots and pigmentation. Depending on the compounds of that specific peel, they're usually meant to kill bacteria, to penetrate the skin and stimulate collagen growth or boost that up, to dissolve the top layers of the skin, or to actually eat away at the top layers of the skin and cause a legit peeling or flaking effect. I personally really love peels. My favorite to do on myself are glycolic acid. Now there's also really fun peels such as the Jessner that you can literally do 1 or 2 passes at a spa or medical office and your face literally comes off like a gigantic mask. I have never had one of these performed on me personally. I've been too scared, but when I was in aesthetics school, I actually administered one of these to someone else. And dude, those results are crazy. So should you do this at home or with a professional, and how much can you expect to pay? The biggest barrier to doing this at home is the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Because what causes peeling is a controlled substance, you can usually only get these at around 10 or at the top 20% over the counter. So you can't get anything that's too potent, which is good so you can't hurt yourself. But if you do go to a spa or an esthetician's office, they can get much higher percentages. You could get a 40% or a 70% glycolic acid peel. And they could even do 2 different passes, which will really give you some amazing anti-aging and anti-acne results. Also with a professional, you could get something like a Jessner, which you could never do over the counter. There are other peels such as the Deep Sea Peel from Cosmedix, which actually use a seaweed and a coral scrubbing, which yields more of a flaky effect. And again, you're just gonna have to explore your skincare labels at the store or talk to a professional to find out what's right for you and your skin concerns. So how much can you expect to pay? Again, because the active ingredients vary so much, there really is no answer for this one. But I would personally say pay $10 to $50 if you're buying something over the counter. If you're paying less than $10, you're probably getting a lot of fillers, some cheap product, and not getting your money's worth. And if you're paying over $50, you're overpaying. There's some really good stuff in the $10 to $50 price range, which can get you a great peel at home. If you're doing this at a spa, expect to pay around $40 in a rural area to about $175 in a city. If you're in a big city and they're charging you more than $300, you are being ripped off and don't do it. And if you're paying more than $200 in a rural area, go somewhere else. A glycolic acid peel is $85 at La Beauty, which is a spa in Salt Lake City, Utah. And an enzyme peel that contains glycolic, lactic acid, and retinol here in San Francisco at International Orange is $195 for the facial plus a $35 add-on. When it comes to medical, again, if you have insurance, this is great. I personally had Dr. Murad give me a face peel once and it was phenomenal. But if you don't have that medical insurance, you're probably overpaying. With no medical insurance, you're looking at $500 to $1,500. For that price, go get yourself 3 treatments at a spa or with an esthetician, or just a really good Jessner peel. I've personally gotten a peel from Dr. Howard Murad, and it was awesome. But again, if that's not covered by insurance, I wouldn't pay that price. I would rather go to his spa instead, where the peels are much less expensive and much more affordable. Next, for the list of questions you want to ask. Number 1, what peel is being used and what are the active ingredients in this? Is this professional using AHA or BHA acids? Are they using seaweed extracts or coral, or something completely different? You want to know what's going on your face. Also be sure to ask, how many treatments will I need to see lasting results? Especially if you're dealing with wrinkles, with pigmentation, or with scars, you want to know how many treatments this is going to take. Also, what is the downtime, if any? If you're doing a glycolic acid peel, you probably don't want to wear makeup for the rest of the day. But if you're doing a Jessner peel, you are out of commission for a week because your face will literally come off in your hands. You want to know this before going in. Bottom line, you have a lot of different options for your skin, and the pricing depends on whether you're doing this at home with an esthetician or with a medical professional, whether or not you have insurance, what location you're in, and if you're doing something that is effective and to the point, or if you're paying for a really luxury product or service. But when it comes to the true cost of your skincare treatments, I hope that this video serves as a really good guide for you and your skin. You can save this to a watch later playlist or send it to your email or even to a friend and reference this in the future, especially because if you do go forward with a treatment with a professional, I want to make sure that you're asking those questions so that you can get the answers you actually need. Remember that when it comes to my acne personally, I attribute clearing my skin to education, to knowing what actually goes into my skin, how these treatments work, what the rest of my body, my stress, and my diet is doing, and how that all plays in together. This video is your first step towards that education, getting to know how much things actually cost. There are a lot of other videos on this channel about diet, nutrition, treatments, things that an esthetician will tell you that a doctor won't, and a whole bunch more. So be sure to explore some of the videos that I've personally listed in the bottom tab for you, as well as doing a couple Google or YouTube searches about other treatments that you're curious about. I spent over 70 hours researching this video, so I really do hope that you find it helpful. If so, be sure to let me know. And again, leave a comment with which one of these treatments you would want to know more about so that I can do a little bit more digging or even try them out myself. When it comes down to it, I believe that when we're empowered with knowledge and inspired, that we are driven to use our strengths to make positive change in this world. So go out there, educate yourself, and make positive change for your skin and the world around you. I love you so much. It is a pleasure to have you here, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.